she'd heard of this one book.
Mm-hmm.
It's a book about the Black Dahlia.
Uh-huh.
That woman who was murdered and cut into pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually saw the film. It was with Ben Affleck, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I remember there's been a film or maybe two films about it. But yeah, no. So I got the book, and if I'm able to see Brittany in May, don't get any ideas. But if I'm able to see Brittany in May, I'm going to show it to her, because the only reason I know about the Black Dahlia is because of her. She's into that kind of thing, so she introduced me to the crime of the Black Dahlia.
Oh.
So I got that book. Let's see, I wandered around. I got what else did I get? I borrowed a movie from the library. I borrowed Call Me by Your Name.
I want to see it.
I want to see it too. It apparently just came out on DVD, and thank goodness it came out on DVD, because I can't watch Blu-rays on my computer.
Oh, okay. Well, does your library do they have Blu-rays or just DVDs?
I think they have Blu-rays. I'm not sure. I don't make a habit of checking them out. I try to stick to DVDs if I can. I think they might have a small section for Blu-rays.
Oh, I recently got a few movies from the library, and I have them here with me. Probably you read that I wanted you to see, or you should check that movie called In Search of Fellini.
Yes.
And I saw the movie, I really liked it, and I've seen a few movies from Fellini, not too many. So I said, well, I might as well check what I have. I had La Strada, which is called The Road, and I watched it, and then I submitted a few requests to the library so I can watch them, a lot of his films. So I got Juliet of the Spirits, and I just got a notification from the library that I have a few more to go get them. But it's that film, In Search of Fellini. It was produced and written by this the woman who is a comedian and plays Marge Simpson in The Simpsons.
Oh, really?
Nancy Cartwright. I think it's Nancy Cartwright.
It's Cartwright.
Yeah, hold on. Nancy Cartwright. She's the one who plays 7 Simpson characters.
Oh my goodness, that's right. She plays like almost all of the family, doesn't she?
Yeah. And she produced and wrote that story, and she said it's based loosely on a true story. And if she wrote it, it could have been a personal experience of her trying to...
Like an autobiography?
It could be. It could be. The movie is about this girl who's 20 years old, and she's being overprotected by her mother. Okay? Her mother didn't let her do anything. Everything had to be like, completely sugar-coated. There is no danger in your life. There is no bad people. Everything is...
She's sheltered is what it is.
Completely. But there is a reason why. The first 10 minutes of the film, they explain that the mother was kind of like a loose cannon, and she used to party, drink, get involved in relationships, usually what they say toxic relationships, and she got knocked up and she got pregnant. So she said she probably thought, okay, my daughter is never gonna go through this. So she overprotected her, and when the daughter realized that she's 20 and she has to get a job, she tries to get a job into films because she liked watching films with her mother. And in a trip to in a trip to downtown Cincinnati, everything happens in Cincinnati, Ohio. she discovers Fellini, this director, the Italian director, and she gets obsessed with Fellini, and she starts watching the films over and over, checking them out from the library on VHS, watching them on TV, which is something that a lot of people do. You discover Fellini and you cannot give up. And then she decides that she wants to go and meet him, but she has never left the country, and she has never been on a plane. She has never been to Italy, for that matter, and everything goes. An adventure starts from there, you know, and of course, there is her experiences are connected to events from Fellini's movies, La Strada, Nights of Calabria, and of course the movie is set on the story is set on 1993, 25 years ago. So that gives you an idea, because that was the year when Fellini died, and it was like a big shock in Italy and in the movie world. He was old, you know. He was old, but at the same time he was still kind of like lucid and making films. So right now I went and I got that Juliet of the Spirits, one of the movies that he made, starring his wife Giulietta Massina, because he was upset. He loved his wife, and he always had his wife as his muse, you know. Giulietta Massina was the actress, and I also got Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
It was fun. Nothing. I was expecting a boring film, but I had a good time, especially because I like Michael Keaton, and yeah. And I also got a film that everybody talked about this back in 2004, but I didn't see it. It's called What the Bleep Do We Know?
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
I've heard of that one. I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to a party in Richmond, and in Richmond, California, and we were. It was a party with lots of intellectuals, and you know the typical left wingy people of this area, because I'm surrounded by left wingers.
They don't have
what?
to get a hold of, a negative review, then they won't go see the movie. I myself am very, very easily influenced. I hope we're getting all this.
One of the reasons why I wanted to make this to start doing this podcast with you, or start talking, is because I don't know if you notice, but every time, at least in my YouTube channels, every time I go there, or every time I go to youtube.com, I get this videos suggested for me, destroying The Last Jedi, talking terrible things about the film, and I started noticing that every time I watch The Last Jedi again, instead of enjoying it, I start finding defects.
The flaws that people were talking about.
Yeah, and of course, there, like any film, it's a film with several flaws, especially in continuity and other things. But I never saw, even with the Phantom Menace, I never saw that much divisiveness.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of vocal viciousness and a whole lot of poison being spewed at it.
It's appalling. I mean, some of them are funny. Some reviews are funny, but I started noticing that there is a trend, and it's trying to pinpoint a problem that the film has, and I think I might have to agree with them, is that they're letting a certain agenda and how would I say in Spanish or in English, they're letting a certain agenda affect the the continuity or the storyline. Like for instance, okay, we have to have feminine characters being heroes, which is okay. I don't mind who's the hero is as long as the story is good, or as long as the movie keeps my interest. And that's not the point. Same with race. It doesn't matter what color the character is really. But if you're going to try to say, okay, this admiral, for instance, Admiral Holdo, has to save the fleet by sacrificing herself, by not telling anybody what her plan was, just because she wanted to prove a point. It was like it kind of like didn't make sense. And also, of course, the fact that everybody who is a bad person, or everybody who's bad in the film, is white. And you start noticing that, okay, even Luke Skywalker, even...
Right, exactly. And then on related to that, I think, is that we have Rose, the little,
Mm-hmm.
for all intents and purposes, the little Asian chick,
Mm-hmm.
and all she was just the token Asian. She didn't do anything. She was just a token Asian who sounded smart at the right moment, or who was the hottest thing on two legs
Mm-hmm.
that one of the protagonists had ever seen.
Yeah.
But she didn't serve any other purpose. She thought she was sounding smart, but no.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I cut over you.
No, you're right. One thing is for sure. I think it was 2 weeks after the release of The Last Jedi, I read a very positive review of the film, a very positive comment, saying that the film was, of course, a great example of filmmaking in which women have the power of taking control of things, and for the first time we have characters, girls in science fiction films, not trying to be sexy, or their shots are not trying, the scenes portraying them, they are like not in scantily clad, and they say, oh, this is for the first time. And I was thinking of Princess Leia in the first Star Wars. She was wearing a tunic, she was wearing a princess dress, and she was trying not to be sexy. She was saving the day. And this is 40 years ago, so there's nothing new in it. And there's also nothing sexy or nothing alluring on Ripley in Aliens, with Sigourney Weaver grabbing a big machine gun and trying to blow the big alien monster. But
right, she got shit done.
Yes,
that was
yes.
all. That was what she was about. Get shit done.
The thing with Rose Tico, and I think they're gonna talk about her for many years. The thing with Rose Tico is that she was trying to. It seems like she was trying to be a poster child in high school or college, or how to be politically correct. They go and try to they go and try to get this code breaker to enter the big machine, the big Empire ship, or big First Order ship, and no, all of a sudden, I have to save these little horses, these little creatures.
That was it was sweet on the surface. That was a sweet moment on the surface, and it looked beautiful. But when you get in depth like that, you're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
And I mean, they're on a mission. They have time. They have no time. In my opinion, if instead of what they could have done is, okay, we're out of the jail. Let's escape with this guy who said that he can decode that chip or decode the tracker, and after the mission is complete, they return with whatever they have, and they rescue the animals at the end of the film. And at the end of the film, she would give the ring to the kid, and the kid would say, "Oh, I'm with the Force," whatever. But it was completely unnecessary. And I understand people get frustrated with The Last Jedi, but what I don't understand is the hatred they portray, saying, "Oh my God, Star Wars is ruined for me." And or they kill my childhood. I would say, dude, there are other things that kill your childhood. You should worry about other things that killed your childhood, or it's called real life instead of a film.
I'm sorry that this fan fiction writer didn't write their fan fiction the way you wanted him to. Yeah.
You're talking about Rian Johnson?
Yeah, I am literally talking about Rian Johnson. I am literally talking about how people are saying, and I don't know if I do feel this way or not, but I read this many times on Facebook and Tumblr and Twitter. Wow, I am so sorry that this other fan fiction writer didn't write this fan fiction the way you wanted him to. I'm so sorry that your life is ruined over that.
It's not the first time. It has happened before in literature, movies, music. If you only knew how people freak out when a band releases an album they don't want to listen, or they were not expecting it. It's the same thing. So my question is, do we depend that much on fiction? Do we depend that much on stories other people tell us, or other companies tell us? Do we care that much? And it seems like the answer is yes. Marvel comic fans, or Star Wars fans, or Star Trek fans, and even Harry Potter. I mean, what if the author decided to kill Harry Potter or something? I mean, would be people angry at her for her decision? Telling her that Harry Potter is a character of the people that belongs to us? And I would say, no, sir. You can. The author has a total right to do it. It is,
right.
is their creation. And regarding The Last Jedi, from what I'm hearing, it seems like Rian Johnson is not gonna work on that supposed trilogy that he was working on.
Yeah, no, I thought I heard he got fired. I'm not sure.
Everything is numbers. Disney thinks in numbers, which actually, if you are an entertainment company and you're not entertaining people enough, it's okay to think that way. I don't see anything wrong. They're getting rid of him because his film, I believe, took a lot of risks, and he kind of sold out, or he sold Star Wars to this politically correctness thing of everything has to be, pleasant for kids so we don't hurt their feelings. And
right.
I belong to a different generation than you, in which we were exposed to really violent films, violent stories, but life goes on, and that is not gonna. That is, I mean, you're not hurting anybody's feelings. That's illogical to me, that a film can hurt your feelings, that a work of art can hurt you, when there are people in real life that actually do it for you and for free, without you having to pay for a ticket.
Right.
I don't know if you're into telenovelas.
No, but I know what they are.
Yeah. Okay. Telenovelas are, in my opinion, as a Latino, in my opinion, they're poison. Okay, just simple poison. They just poison people every day into watch stories that never end, love stories, dramatic stories, with token characters. You know, the poor little girl who falls in love with this rich guy, and there's an evil girl, there's an evil bride. Anyway.
Right, a prostitute, yeah.
Oh, what? No. Did you say a prostitute? Where? Where? No, I mean, the guy is supposed to be engaged to marry this woman, and she's rich, and he's rich, but then there's this girl who's poor, but she has a good heart. You know, that's the typical thing. It's produced in massive quantities in Mexico. Mexico, in the good old days, Venezuela. Now Venezuela's doing terrible. Venezuela was a big country that produced telenovelas. And now, believe it or not, it's Turkey. Turkey is force-feeding the South American market with their telenovelas. And they're getting a big success over there because it's very male-oriented. The stories in Turkish soap operas are, very chauvinistic, in which men are right, women are just sexual objects or romantic objects. And you think, right. You point finger at Turkey, saying, oh, you are doing this. But then again, in South America, everybody's watching those soap operas because they think, oh, gee, it's really cool. First of all, the Turkish women are beautiful. They're hypnotically beautiful. You can fall in love with them. And Turkish men are handsome. Women fall in love with them. Oh my God, he's so hot. And they're following these stories. And even my mom is watching them. I think she mentioned that she was watching one of them. I said, why are you watching it? But anyway, I'm kind of like going away from the point. There was a character in a soap opera a long time ago. I don't remember the name. I will have to Google it, but I don't even want to touch the keyboard. I think there was an evil character from a soap opera. And the actress, she portrayed that evil character, the bad, evil villain woman, so well that she couldn't go out in the streets without being pelted or attacked by people in Mexico. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, let's say Kylo Ren. The guy is so evil that poor Adam Driver cannot go out in the streets of New York without being attacked for being so evil and killing Han Solo. It was like that.
Yes.
And then that's why I say telenovelas sometimes are poison, and people fall for them in the most stupid way. This is just an actor doing its job, they're doing their job in the best possible way, and from what I see, all this backlash and all these attacks on movies, saying, oh, it's ruined my life, I will never go see Star Wars again, let's boycott Disney. I do think it's I think it's bad for people's psyche, really. I mean, it's not only movies, it also happens in music, like I said, or in soccer. And nobody in all this Last Jedi critiques, nobody even mentions Carrie Fisher. That's it. They don't say anything saying about her performance.
They don't say anything, or they mention the combat scene where she struck a Superman pose. That's all they talk about. And there are memes, there are videos, parody videos, joking videos on the internet that are all just about the scene with the Superman pose. And
you mean Mary Poppins?
I do, in fact, mean Mary Poppins.
Yeah, you said.
But oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, but I didn't even notice. As for my personal experience, I was sobbing in somebody's arms because my poor Princess Leia, my poor General Organa got hurt in an attack. I didn't find it funny at all. Someone needs to emphasize, besides me and besides you, but thank you for bringing this up. Somebody other than us needs to call attention to the fact that was her last performance. She wrote the script. She wrote the script. That was the last thing that she ever did, and she did a dang good job with it.
I think so too. I mean, she was first of all Carrie Fisher. She was not Princess Leia. Let's not forget that. She was Carrie Fisher. She was not a simple actor. She was a famous author. She was here actually in Berkeley for a season doing Wishful Drinking.
Really?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I have the book.
Yeah. So she did was that Wishful Drinking or some other play that she did? It was a
Well, yes. She adapted her memoir, which was called Wishful Drinking. It was first a book, and then she turned it into the one-woman play.
Yeah. So, regarding that, it seems like it seems to me that the hatred that people portray the movie has blinded them. They don't even mention her like you said, her last performance, and then again, I kind of understand because these people went. They bought their ticket expecting vanilla, and they got Rocky Road. Is what I say. You know.
I love that. That's a really, really good way to put that.
Yeah, I heard that phrase somewhere. I didn't invent that. I heard it. In the book about Charles Schulz, the creator of Peanuts.
Yes, another mastermind, another absolute gift to all the industries. But yes, I think you're right. I think you're very right that people are putting emphasis on the wrong things about Last Jedi. It's not a good movie, but I love it. That's how I choose to approach it because it's perfectly gray. It's not black and white. My approach.
Yeah.
Because no, it isn't a good movie. It really, really is not a good movie. But I loved it.
The only thing that I really agree with the haters is when they just attack Kathleen Kennedy. I really do not like her. I have to say, and I agree with Brittany in this case. I mean, she has ruined. She has been ruining movies for many years, and this is not her first rodeo smearing films. I mean, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom or something. But it seems to me that she's a good marketer, and she's a person who knows how to push. Movies or how to promote films. Obviously, that's the case, but it seems like the final product in The Last Jedi, it seems like it's the last straw, or now they're saying, okay, what has she done? Because I have to be honest with you, I watched the bonus features on The Last Jedi. She seemed, she doesn't give too many interviews this time, which is like good because I honestly do not like her when she talks. But it seems to me that she's behind Rian Johnson the whole time, saying, okay, this, yes, and not this. Let's... And when I saw Admiral Holdo, Laura Dern, I thought, okay, this is Kathleen Kennedy, in command. And when she sacrifices herself, and probably in my opinion the best scene when the cruiser jumps to hyperspace and destroys the fleet. She's doing it for us. She's sacrificing herself, and when there's probably no need to do it. Why didn't she jump in one of the transporters and told one of the droids, "Hey, droid, sacrifice yourself, jump to hyperspace"? You know.
Oh boy.
There was no need to do it. You know.
Right.
So in that you get a message that okay, women sacrifice themselves and stuff, and I started getting the idea. I started getting that vibe from the haters. Okay, I do not wanna buy Star Wars on DVD, or don't wanna buy The Last Jedi because I do not want to be lectured. You know, I get lectured all the time, especially from the guy's perspective. You know, most of the guys are comic book fans, or you know, they're like having to deal with issues in everyday life, trying to get a job. They don't know how to talk to women, and all of a sudden, oh, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. So it reaches a point in which, okay, I'm bad, but I'm not gonna go for it. I'm not gonna buy. I'm not gonna give money to Disney. And if all women are good and all men are bad, then there's something there. There's something that the media or the general public tries to push on you. And people usually get tired. And believe me, in the future, people are going to start getting like, okay, that's getting old, you know. All right. Same case with other films. I don't know if you saw the Oscars. Did you see the Oscar ceremony or not?
I didn't see it. I heard about some of the movies that I was keeping track of, but no, I didn't actually watch the ceremony. Didn't have access to it. Why? What's up?
Because when Frances McDormand won the Oscar for Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, she said, "Oh, 2 words," and she mentioned this term that is called inclusion rider. She mentioned the words inclusion rider, and I didn't know what that was, so I had to Google it or had to ask somebody in the party what was that mean. And it was a term that they want to put in Hollywood, in which a film has to have a certain percentage of women acting, you know, and I don't know if that has something to do with people of color acting. But it has to be a certain percentage. That means that you cannot make a film with just men, right?
Right, exactly.
So a movie,
that's sexist.
A movie like Lawrence of Arabia would be impossible to be made, because Lawrence of Arabia is just men in talking parts. There's not a single woman who talks. You can see a couple of Arab women with their veils walking in the desert, but that's it. And here's the thing: you are putting storytelling in danger. And I'm not saying this because I don't like stories with women or anything like that, but you are limiting the screenwriters, or you're giving them conditions beyond the conditions that they already have. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I do.
Like say, this movie doesn't pass the Bechdel test because there's not 2 women with names talking to each other about something different than a man. So be it. There's gonna be, if you want to make movies with women with names talking about things other than a man, then just go ahead and make one with a good story. And believe me, there are films that are very good in United States, made in Hollywood. They pass that test, but people don't pay too much attention. And my question is, why do you have to force big studios to include people of color or women or Latinos for that matter? I believe in authenticity, and I agree. If you are going to portray somebody from Mexico, have somebody from Mexico portraying that person, because it's accurate. I mean,
Right.
you don't hire. Best example is Charlton Heston in Touch of Evil. He played a Mexican. No, there are
No.
other actors who can do it in authenticity, and it really,
Right.
yeah. Same
I
with.
see. I see yours. I see yours, and I raise you Memoirs of the Geisha.
Oh, there you
That
go.
was a-
I was about to mention that.
Yeah. It's a freaking Japanese movie. Well, it's a movie about Japanese people, but they cast. I can't pronounce her name.
Lucy
but
Liu.
Her name's the Chinese woman, the really really pretty Chinese woman with the blue eyes.
Lucy Liu.
No,
Zhang Ziyi.
Zhang Ziyi.
Yes.
I can't do that. Blah. But yeah, so they cast her as the main geisha girl, Chio or whatever her name was. But yes, and the reason I even remember that is I just bought the book again, like 3 weeks ago with the movie cover on the book. And there's the actress with the blue eyes, and I mean I don't really have a legitimate problem with it. It's just I understand what you're saying about authenticity, and I know why you're saying it. So I just figured.
You know, that movie probably was produced. That movie was produced by Steven Spielberg, from what I remember.
What was?
Memories of a Geisha.
Let me look that up for you real fast. I'm sitting at the computer. Oh, holy crap! You're right.
Yeah, and this Steven Spielberg's name, it's big all over the world, including China and including Japan. You know, and if you say, oh, that doesn't matter, international markets do not matter. Yes, they do. They do matter, and a lot. A lot of people go and see movies in international markets, American markets. American films and European markets. And believe me, in Japan, are they gonna go and in a country which you can recognize right away if you're a Japanese? And I know that you love Japan, right?
I do.
You love Japan. If you're a Japanese person and you see this film, Memories of a Geisha, starring a Chinese woman, they're gonna spot their differences right away, and they're gonna say, "Isn't there any other Japanese actress that could have been casted? I mean, are this woman's agents that good?" And believe me, it's just a matter of simple criteria. It's not gonna. I mean, I know the movie was released. Hollywood didn't care, but I know Spielberg, and I have an issue with Spielberg. I like him. I like his work sometimes, and I hate his work sometimes. He can give you Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, but he can also give you a masterpiece, which is Saving Private Ryan. This is one of the best movies I've seen, one of the best war movies I've ever seen. But he can give you snooze fest like Lincoln, you know, it's to make you sleep, or The Terminal with Tom Hanks, or it seems to me like he wants to prove a point, like, oh yes, I can convey emotions. I can convey emotions. You have to be emotional with my films because I make people cry, you know?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's it's all about making people cry. We're having as many big names as possible to get attention, and I don't see a problem with that in certain cases. Like Spielberg did one, just recently called Ready Player One.
Have you seen it?
Oh my goodness, yes, I saw it in big definition and 3D.
Oh, how was it?
I loved it.
Okay.
I loved it. I recommend it so much. It was a lot like, it was really quite a bit like a Spielberg fest. I mean, it's supposed to be, but I mean, think about going to a convention just for Spielberg. There you go.
Okay.
It's a Spielberg convention. But it's also really well acted, and it's really, really good. And bossy boyfriend Ben Mendelsohn plays the bad guy, and I'm just like...
Oh, now I know why you went there. You like...
Yeah, that is specifically why, and why I had someone pay a lot of money for the big definition and 3D. Biggest screen possible with the dang 3D glasses. Why? Oh man, there's no better way. Oh, there's just no other way.
You and your crushes. What am I gonna do with you?
Well, hey, it could be worse.
It could be
so
worse.
much.
I have a neighbor. My neighbor. Oh, hold on. I'm turning this other computer, but that's fine. I have a neighbor who has a crush on the guy from Castle. The guy from Firefly Castle. I don't remember his name, but he looks like a chubby Han Solo or something like that.
Oh, Nathan Fillion?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah,
I think Nathan Fillion is reasonably cute. I don't understand why everyone just adores him. I mean, too many people know about him. We need some unsung beauties like Ben Mendelsohn and Adam Driver and Ryan Reynolds. More people need to say their names instead, you know?
Yeah. I mean, no question about their talent. They're good actors. I mean, Mendelsohn, Driver, even that guy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I think, well, I personally have my crushes. They have their crushes. That's okay. For instance, I cannot live without Kate Blanchett. I think she's an exceptionally. I think is one of the best actresses ever, and she's extremely hot, extremely attractive, and I think she's perfect. She's a perfect actress, and that's okay. I also like Christina Hendricks. I mean, there's a woman extremely beautiful, but then again, anyway, my neighbor is obsessed with Castle and Firefly and Serenity, and I don't know. It's her own crush. But we were talking about Spielberg, and if you look at his career, if you look at Spielberg's career going all the way 47 years ago when he released his first movie, which was an action comedy, an action adventure called Duel, which I recommended to you. It's on YouTube. It's about a guy being chased by a truck.
You said it's called what? My phone cut out.
Duel, Duel, Duel.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
All right, I will look that up right.
Yeah, as his first film, you start going, and you see that the guy likes adventures, like action, and likes to entertain people, you know? But it seems to me that there was a certain point, a certain pivotal point in the middle of the 80s, in which he says, "Okay, I'm gonna try to be serious now." You know what I mean? Serious.
Right. Serious.
That was a little bit after E.T. You know, E.T. got lots of nominations. There was a story about this little kid and the alien. Um, a story written by Melissa Matheson, who was Harrison Ford's wife at that time. And Melissa Matheson, after her divorce, she ended up getting a big piece of the pie of the Indiana Jones character. So she got a lot of money. It was one of the most expensive divorces ever, but that's not the point. Spielberg says, I'm going to make people sad right now. Enough with adventures, enough with Indiana Jones, so I'm gonna make the color purple. You know, a sad story and stuff. And I don't know, well, of course you don't remember, you probably were not born yet, but I remember reading a magazine around that time saying that Spielberg betted, or he put all his chips on of going serious. I'm gonna be making dramas right now, you know. So the Academy saw the perfect story. I mean, he saw the perfect story for the Academy. An Oscar awarded film, or a movie ready to win Oscars about a black slave, and I don't remember quite frankly the color purple story, but I saw it. It was very sad. Anyway, he got 8 nominations, 8 Oscar nominations. And he said, okay, I'm going to make this kind of films, so people will give me Oscars. So he got 8 nominations and he didn't win one. The color purple didn't win any Oscars.
Why the heck not?
Maybe because people fell for the hype. Remember, that's how Hollywood votes. Hollywood, sometimes they vote for movies they haven't seen. Proof of that is that Kobe Bryant documentary about basketball. I saw it. I thought it was the worst short film, and the film won the Oscar for best short animated film. And I said, "Are you fucking out of your mind?" That film was a 10-minute Nike commercial or Lakers commercial, hand-drawn, very cheap quality. I don't know. I thought it was. I thought it wasn't. It didn't give justice to Kobe Bryant's career. That's for sure. But again, I thought, and I said, why were they doing this? And I think people thought, oh, okay, we're going to nominate Spielberg's film just because it's a Steven Spielberg. He's going serious. He has this comedy actress doing drama, Whoopi Goldberg, right?
Right?
Yeah, right. Of course I'm right. And
Of course.
yes, I'm right. Of course I'm right. We're going to have this amazing actress, but then at the end they probably thought, okay, this is not maybe it's not that good, or maybe he's trying to push us, making us cry too much. So he didn't win any Oscars. And then he started doing more, he started doing serious stuff, like a movie that everybody forgot, but I think it was a good film, called Always. You ever heard of that film?
My phone cut out a little bit. Which one?
Always.
Not sure.
Yeah, it's from '89, and it's starring Richard Dreyfuss. It was about a firefighter. It was a guy who was fighting fires, wildfires, I think in California. I don't remember the film. But the thing is, he dies in a plane crash. Okay, or in a fire. I think his airplane crashes in a fire and he dies. But here it is. Here's the story. He comes back as a ghost, as a spirit, to look after his wife, who was Holly Hunter. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Do you notice a trend now? The guy dies and comes back to haunt and be around her. And
Like
this is
Patrick Swayze, Ghost.
Exactly. So when
Yep.
that movie by Spielberg it didn't get a nomination, but Ghost did get a nomination for Best Film and Best Supporting Actress, which was Whoopi Goldberg, and she won. You know, so
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it was just it was interesting. It was that film, and honestly, I remember watching those two films around the same time. I thought Always by Spielberg was slightly better. And this is the thing. This is the most ironic thing. Do you remember the director of Ghost? Do you remember who he was?
I used to know. A lot's happened since then. I saw that movie 10 years ago, okay?
Okay.
The first time ever. I saw
It doesn't
10
matter.
years ago.
It doesn't matter. You're not supposed to coming back and write on your mind. The name was David Zucker, who was a comedy director, who made movies like Airplane, Top Secret, Hot Shots, and the Kentucky Fried Movie, I think. No, that was John. No, that was John Landis, and it's a very weird film that I recommend to you if you ever want to wash away all your prejudices and your politically correctness. That's a great film to watch. The Kentucky Fried Movie.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it is very weird. It's a series of it's a parody of commercials, movies. It's like you're watching late cable TV and you start like hallucinating or something like that. But
Oh man.
yeah, I highly recommend it to you.